Hello, my name is Alan Salby. For my Physics 1 project, I'm looking at the mechanics of a mountain bike drivetrain and suspension. I'm using a slow motion video from Pink Bike because it clearly shows how these parts move independently during a big jump. Let's talk about our first concept, torque and rotation. First, let's talk about how the bike moves. Around the 13-second mark, you can see the rider pedaling. This pulls on the chain, creating a force F on the rear cog because that cog has a radius r and it creates torque. The math. Following the formula torque is equal to Rf sine theta, this torque is what actually rotates the rear wheel and lets the bike accelerate. Talk about our second concept, restoring forces. Now look at the landing at 45 seconds. When the bike hits the ground, the rear shock squishes down. This is a restoring force in action. The math we use here is Hooke's law, which is the force of spring is equal to negative k delta x. The air pressure in the shock is our spring constant K, and delta X is how much the shock compressed. The shock wants to return to its original shape, so it pushes back to keep the bike from bottoming out. Now let's talk about our third concept, damping damping forces. Finally, notice at 48 second time mark, how the bike doesn't just bounce back up like a pogo stick. That's because of dampening forces. The math for this is Fd is equal to negative Bv. Inside the shock, oil moves through small valves to create resistance force Fd. This turns that bouncy energy into heat, which keeps the bike stable so the rider doesn't lose control after a landing. Now let's talk about the big picture. To wrap it all up, torque is what makes the bike go, but the restoring and damping forces are what keep the bike planted by controlling the energy from the ground. The suspension ensures that the tires stay in contact with the dirt, which allows that all torque to actually move the bike forward safely. And that's all for this project. Thank you guys for watching.